So tonight we are going to
Yes.
be talking about something very technical. It's very, very important. All these years, all these times, we have been showing people what it's upfront, what kind of product that we can offer, product and services. We every Wednesday night we do a lot of product training. We show you basically we show you what the beauty of imagine that you purchase a car, you purchase a Ferrari, right? You look at this car, wow, man, this is beautiful. But now what we're going to do is to open up the hood, let you see the engine, what is inside of it, what makes a Ferrari, right? So what makes Sequoia a Sequoia is not Alan Wu. Hey, you might see me all the time, but again, I'm just the face. But behind it, under the hood, the engine is not me. A lot of you asking me questions. As a matter of fact, I oftentimes go back to these individuals to ask for their opinions. How do they do? How can we do things? Can this get this get be done or not? So on and so forth. So the engine for Sequoia, especially in the funding side of it, is the processing team. Without the processing team, none of this thing is going to happen. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce the processing team to you. Mr. George Franco is heading it. Mr. Franco himself, he is a lender himself. Okay, he's going to share with you a little bit why he decided to join Sequoia. And also, we have a fantastic, wonderful lady, and I'm so grateful to have her on our team, just because she possesses so much knowledge in terms of processing that I have no idea what it is. It just, before she came on board, there's a lot of things that we try to figure out how to do this, how to do that. But ever since she came on board, things become much, much easier just because she brought in the knowledge that she has. So without further ado, George, the floor is yours.
Thank you. The big reason I joined Sequoia, as you guys know, I might have mentioned this in the past, is Alan tried to get me on board for a long time, and I was not really feeling the whole concept. I just didn't understand it fully. When I began to look into it and saw how it helped people, because that's the biggest thing that we do. Being able to help people, being able to close deals that they can't get done anywhere else was really an appeal. When I was able to actually get in and see some of the things as far as the agents, the borrowers, the lenders we deal with, it was a well put together machine. And as you guys know, we I've always tried to take these mundane tasks off your plate. If you have a deal, you bring it to us, we filter it, we make sure it goes to the right lender and so forth. But Alan mentioned on the front end is the sales side, the origination side. What people don't see is behind the scenes, a lot of the maneuvering that goes on, the negotiations, the processing, the paperwork, the whole process behind the scenes when it comes to getting the deal to close. And that's something that when I saw it, when I started working with Alan, I was like, wow, this is really something that can be big. And it has grown. Since I've joined Sequoia, I've seen a lot of growth in both number of agents and also the volume deals that we do. And so that's been very, very, very promising, very, exciting. And the addition of the person I'm going to introduce now, Becky, we were at a place where we were trying, as Madeline mentioned, trying to figure out how to get certain things done. We were doing very well, but we knew that we can get better. And I think Becky has come on board and has helped us tremendously. I'm very excited, very happy, very pleased that she's with us. And she's going to go ahead and give us a glimpse as to how the process works. Again, behind the scenes, as far as what the agents sometimes don't see and what's really important, because once you understand that part, it makes the front end a lot easier for you guys. So without any further ado, I'm going to bring on Becky Brown, our processor, and she'll be able to explain everything to you guys. Thank you.
Hi there. Well, welcome everybody. I want to take a moment and say hello. I'm going to be sharing a little bit of a presentation with you today and just walking through some of the pieces that we're doing for you and things that we can, share and things that maybe if you've got something else going on that I can pick up and take care of for you. So it's been a pleasure getting to know Georges and Alan as we're kind of getting in a groove and being able to call them up and say, hey, I think, maybe we could do this or maybe we could do that, because I've done this for a few years, lending probably over 35 years, but I don't look it, so that's what I'm gonna do. So the way I look at processing is it's a combination of paperwork and communication. And you have to blend those two things together in order to be successful in documenting your file and moving it forward. So that's what we're going to look at today is kind of the two different pieces that are really needed in order to be successful. So what we're going to, there we go. So tonight we're going to look at what is processing. We're going to talk about how does that look in terms of what Sequoia is doing. What if you want to be the primary contact for your client, and is that the right fit for you? And then just look at a few tips and takeaways that we can kind of expand on, or you can give me things that you were hoping that I can expand on at a different time. So that's what we're doing. Throughout this process that we're going to talk about, processing process, what I would like to encourage is if you have questions, put them in the chat. Georges can look at them, or Alan can, and can let me know what those questions are. This is part of, the overall process is learning from each other and learning about how you like to have me communicate with you, how you like to communicate with me. But I look at it as an iterative process where we work together on building the right thing that's going to work for both of us. So just keep that in mind. Any questions at all, put them in the chat, or we'll have a question and answer at the end if that works best. So like I say, we're all in this. So what is processing? So the technical term is loan processing is just getting the supporting documents and making the underwriter happy. It sounds so simple. And the thing that it seems like you should be able to take the document, put it in a folder, and that's all that it takes. But what you also have to consider is that there are different people that look at that document as it goes through its process, as it goes through its life cycle in that loan. And each person applies their own filter to looking at that information. So how you present it to an underwriter or how we present it to our lenders is very important. I make sure that our files are neat and tidy and labeled correctly because that makes their job easier. So if you send me something that just says image on it, or if that's what I get from one of your clients, I'm going to look at it. I'm going to label it. I'm going to put some notes on it so the underwriter can know exactly what they're looking for and open it up and do it really quickly. The less questions from the underwriter, the better. I've been an underwriter. I know how many questions I can ask on a file. So so seems super simple, but there's all these different personalities built in. So let's look at the processing in the environment of Sequoia. There's a lot of little definition pieces that are on here. This is, certainly you'll have access to the presentation at a later date, but this really summarizes and gives you an idea about what each of the camps are doing. So as the agent, to kick this off, you are getting the scenario, you are submitting it through the portal, and actually from the very get-go, you're supplying us with information that allows us to figure out which way is the program going to go, but also what way do we have to go about documenting what you're asking for? And that's where all these pieces start coming together. When the loan then comes in to, Georges or Alan, they're going to start trying to see if they, understand and maybe validate some things with you and try and find that right lender, because not all lenders work the same. They don't all require the same documentation. They may be offering the same end product, but the means to get there might be different. They may say, oh, well, I need to, you need to give me this many copies of statements. And another lender might say, well, I only need one statement, or I don't even need a statement. So there's all those little nuances that we learn as we go through and work with each of the lenders about what their requirements are and communicating what your client's needs are. So if your client is really looking for money tomorrow or money in a week, then that impacts where the loan's going to go and the documentation accordingly. And at the outset of finding a lender, getting a term sheet already, then Georges or Alan is then going to create a handoff where it comes into processing. And you'll see me respond if you're getting those messages, you'll see me saying, hey, I'm just saying hi, I'm glad we're going to be working together. And you'll see that if you're the touch point or if you are just on there with your client in an email as well. Processing has a large bubble, as you will see on this chart. There are a lot of pieces, and it's a form of professional nagging, but that's okay. It's what we want. We want to close the loans. I'm going to ask about them, document them, and make sure that they meet that particular lender's guidelines. So that's why we always circle back and follow up and circle back and follow up. Closing is really on the lender side and funded loans. All right. But as this loan closes, it loops back to you, the agent, to get the takeaways, help us build a better process, and help you build a better network of potential clients. So processing the paperwork. The paperwork piece of this is like the application, the entity information. So depending upon the type of entity, it's going to determine, what type of documentation we're going to need for that. Again, we have a couple of lenders right now that one of them asks for 3 supporting documents for the entity. There's another one that is asking for 5 supporting documents for the entity. So those are just little nuances of things that we need to know. The identification and getting the authorization signed. So those are things that we're going to get up front. The submission packet for each lender does vary a little bit, so there'll be different requests. So if a loan does come in and then you've got another loan right behind it, but they've gone to different lenders, that might be the reason that initial request has changed. And please feel free to reach out and we can validate that for you so you can confidently talk to your client if they have questions. And then once that comes in, I submit it to the lender. That includes some system uploads. There's inputting the application details, setting up the document folders. You have to split or combine documents according to however their underwriters like them. And, that's just part of the nuance of dealing with different lenders again. So whatever it is they're looking for. And then once it's been approved, they're going to come out with a laundry list of conditions. And I do the research on those to make sure that I fully understand what it is they're looking for. So I'm not over asking or under asking. I know that clients don't like the death by duck bites, which is terminology from Oregon, where you are asking for something and then you go back and you get something else and then you get something else. So, so I do try to be comprehensive on my first communication of the conditions, but there are some times that I will need to do that more than once. And then ordering the appraisal. That's something that we've also picked up that I'm doing on some of the files is the actual ordering of the appraisal. Once it goes through that final underwrite, then we get a HUD before it gets to closing, make sure everything else looks good and there are no straggling conditions. Alan and Georges gives it the, double thumbs up and away we go. So that's just the paperwork. But there's lots of little pieces. And any questions so far or anything? No? Okay. So processing the communication part. So acknowledging the introduction email, following up on the submission packet. And yes, I know sometimes it's really easy for a client to send in one or two things and not send in everything at once. That's okay. I will follow up and say, okay, I've got, this document and this document. In order to do the initial submission, we still need X, Y, and Z because the underwriters won't look at it. They won't even do the initial review if we don't have what they're requesting from some of our lenders. Other ones are more flexible, and so I'll send in what I think will get us, our foot in the door and get us in line, and we'll go from there. So. And then I'll send out a communication to the client or you as the agent regarding the approvals, the overall list of conditions, and then any updates that happen as the file starts to evolve. So once the appraisal comes in, that might change the value. So that might have an impact on your loan deal. Certainly, Alan and George's will be made aware of that as well. So, those are little things. Once the title work comes in, I'll review that to see if there are any outstanding liens we didn't know about, and any surprises out there that we need to address as part of the transaction as well. So if I run into something that looks like it's going to be a major hurdle for the deal, whether it's a significant delay or whether or not it's a rework, I loop in Alan and Georges right away. So I just let them know that, hey, I need you to put your brain cells to this while I'm working on some other files because maybe of a different lender that this is a non-issue with. So, and they're fabulous at that. So I don't know how they do that. So, I'm just, like I say, I'm just doing the paperwork. So, and then we'll communicate the final approval and the estimated closing to all parties as we get closer. And then again, that settlement statement. So this piece here in processing and the communication is really where I'm hoping as we continue to evolve as a team, where I get your feedback. There are certain clients that prefer certain types or methods of communication. So, for example, I have somebody who is currently, on the West Coast. I'm in Virginia. Clearly he's calling me, later in the evening, probably when he's off work, and that works best for him. And so I make that work. I try not to email or ping people at 9 o'clock in the morning here if they're on the West Coast because it sets off their alarm at 6 o'clock, and they don't not always appreciate that. So, or are they only email people? So if they're predominant that they only ever want email, let me know. Or if I use words that are confusing or unclear, it does not hurt my feelings to get that feedback so I can improve and meet your needs to communicate with your client. So we talked a little bit about the lenders. So this kind of is just a graphic kind of giving you an idea of the different types of lenders that we are currently dealing with. So we have some lenders that, like in an SBA loan, the lender on the far right, lender C, is actually in direct contact with the client. They need to interview them. They have questions that are more dynamic so that if the client answers in one particular way, then they need to be able to say, oh, well, that impacts this whole large package. We have several SBA loans that we are currently working on, and those lenders are doing a fantastic job of getting all those pieces together, and need to have a meet and greet. There was another meet and greet today on a call that I think we had a client, and or actually there's 4 clients and the lender and us and the representative all to get together to make sure that everything was flowing the way that it needed to. We have some lenders are at the opposite end of the spectrum. The lenders in lender A column right now, where I am doing all of the processing. So they are totally hands off. I, review all the documents, label the documents, upload the documents, order the appraisal, order the title work, review all that, upload that when it comes back. Any of the conditions, clarify what the conditions are, make notes on those. And then when all of that stuff is done, I resubmit it to underwriting. They go through and do a quick little checklist. So there's very little hands-on touching by the lender. And then there's the middle. And where there's some lender involvement there that they might be processing, we might just be getting stuff to give to them. They don't really communicate with the borrower, but they're great at communicating with us. So it's, and it changes all the time. So if you're in one particular deal and it didn't work that place, and that was a total hands-off lender, then all of a sudden we might be in somebody that, they want to be more involved and they have their own processors or account representatives is really kind of how they frame that. So just to realize that, there's this whole spectrum. So, as we place the loan somewhere that, what you did on the loan that you did last week might be different than the loan that we're doing this week for you. Okay, so what if I want to be the contact person for my client? Just let us know. We can customize a solution for you if doing that paperwork part or a lot of the paperwork is important to you. If you want to gather the conditions, if you want to have us review them and then give you the feedback, that's perfectly fine. If you find that you're not quite getting what we need, because the more filters, the more people you apply or filters you apply between the request and the delivery, you have the opportunity to have it miscommunicated somewhere or misunderstood. And so what you might get back is not what we needed at all. So I am very well versed in getting on the phone with people and explaining to them what the document is that I'm looking for, why I'm looking for it, if they want to know that. I'm happy to explain to you why we might need some documents, or maybe you just want to have a really clear sense of what the document it is and you don't want to know why. You just know that we have to get it. So, and that's okay too. But certainly if you would like to be more involved in some of the paperwork aspects, just let me know and we can figure out a really good solid balance for you. But part of the reason that I am here is to free up your time and to allow you to build your business, to allow you an opportunity to breathe and to, build those relationships, meet new people, go to Houston and see Alan when he's there, win the Hennessy bottle, whatever it is. And sometimes the deadlines that the lenders can give us it can be one type of document that you're pursuing all day long to get a loan to close. So that's just something that, we're happy to keep you informed and let you know what's going on. But I also don't want you to get bogged down with something that can be really time consuming, very, very time consuming. So, but I work to make your job easier. It really is as simple as that. So that's my goal, is make your job easier, get it off to the underwriter, make their job easier and close loans. So you're the A-lister. As the agent, it begins and ends with you. Back to my little chart here, really understanding that you make this all happen. You know, the bond that you build with your clients allows me to get the documents that we need in order to close the loan. The bond that you build with them allows you that if I can't seem to get it, that I can reach out to you and say, hey, can you call your client? And this is what I specifically need, and figure out if we can do it together. And it also ends with you, where you have the unique position to be able to be client facing and Sequoia facing, where you'll build those relationships and build your client base, but also can feed the information back into the organization so we can get better. What is it that we need to do differently? How do we need to adapt? And, you know, ask for that next referral, request a testimonial if things have been absolutely shining for them, because you deserve it. You deserve it. You know, you found them a place for their loan that they couldn't get anyplace else. So, you know, that's your work. And you did fabulous. So as we kind of start wrapping stuff up here, questions are always welcome. If I put something on regarding a document or anything like that, and you want to know about it or why or whatever, let me know, and I will happily give you a jingle and we can talk it out. I can call a client if that's the preferred method. You know, I can also, like I say, stick to email. The Titan system works pretty well for communication as well. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. And if we still have a couple of minutes, we can talk about a few documentation examples that, you know, if you would like that. Yes?
Yes, please.
Okay, so let's talk about an example that I'm currently working on. So purchase of a property, great borrower, really fun to talk to, which is awesome, and has lots of the funds on their own in an account, looks great, a couple of months worth of bank statements, absolutely beautiful. That's all great. But we have four gift letters. We have 4 different gifts coming from 4 different people. And one of those gift letters, that person is gifting from 3 separate accounts. So, math time. How many extra pieces of paper are generated by 4 gift letters? So you have 4 gift letters. They each have to provide a bank statement showing that they have the money to give. So you have another 4. Now, the good news is the one who has the 3 extra, 2 of them are on the same bank statement. So we got 5, 4, so we're at 9 pieces of paper. And then we have to show the evidence of the transfer of each one of these. And that is another 6, because they are transferring separately. So we are up to 15 documents just to track the gift funds. So, but they're all labeled. I've got one more coming to me tomorrow morning, and it's moving along quite wonderfully. And the client was super responsive. Shout out to Tracy on that one. And it's, you know, it's been a lot of documentation. all required. I checked on it with the lender, exactly what they wanted before we went into it. So, it'll all come together just fine. So, is that a fun example?
Absolutely.
So, Georges, you have an example about title work. So when we get title work, so when you do preliminary title work before you can go to the underwriter, it's called a preliminary title report, and it shows you all the 24 months of how people who have owned the property, plus any liens and any special recordings against the property. So that's what shows. And Georges, I think you had one that kind of showed up as a surprise. If was that the one you were working on?
Correct, correct. That was a there was an issue. There's list pendants actually involving the previous owner. And so this wasn't known. So we were getting ready to close, everything's framing up to close, and here comes a situation where the borrower, our current borrower, didn't get the his title insurance basically. So the title company cleared it, but there was no record of it. And so here we are. The current title company couldn't find any paperwork to verify the list pendants had been cleared. The borrower's attorney is looking for that. Of course, the lender is trusting the title company and us. And so these are things that pop up unexpectedly that take time. That here it is, we're ready to close, thinking everything's clear. And everyone's doing their part. The borrower's doing their part, submitting paperwork, the lender's doing their part, underwriting, the appraisal, everything's been done. But this one thing pops up, which is related to a legal proceeding from the previous owner. And so these are things that happen all the time. Now here we are having to track down what proof that the previous title company used to clear this. And so those are some of the things that happen. And as you know, it involves, and so it may seem simple in terms of, oh, let's just get the paperwork, but it's been, I think, going on 2 weeks now since we've asked and we've been trying to track this down. So these things take time. So to Becky's point, it may seem simple at first. On the surface level, it's hey, it's document, right? But then now here it is, we have to find it, figure out how to make it work. And so for the deal to close, because the title company has to issue a lender's policy, which is basically insurance for the lender, and they can't do that until this is cleared up. And so that has to happen. And so we're trying to figure out what to do and how to clear it. And I assume that will resolve quickly. But I mean, that's some of the things that happen. That those are real life examples of what happens behind the scenes where everyone's wondering, hey, how come it's taking so long? And these are some things that can pop up that delay the actual closing.
Right, right. Well, and the to piggyback on that, really the preliminary title work, that is something I have in my background that I've looked at that and actually, had to sign off on conditions and everything like that. So, I am familiar with those. It is something that on those files that we are actually processing that we can flag right away and then start asking questions on. So yeah, it's always a surprise. So if anybody ever comes to you and says, hey, I'm going to do this cash deal, well, okay, but talk to them about title policy. Talk to them about getting an owner's policy, which is basically an insurance for them to make sure that the prior owner has cleared all the liens against the property. So, and funny enough, that actual, how they tell you keep your life insurance policy in your safe deposit box or something like that. It's the same kind of thing. It's a policy. It's an insurance thing. May never need it, but when you do, boy, you got to know where it is. So yeah, those are some, I think, current examples. I think they're entertaining examples. So any comments, questions, concerns, observations?
Oh, if you don't mind, I can jump in for a few.
Mm-hmm.
So, well, thank you so much, Becky, for showing us what is really under the hood. The main purpose for everybody to know it's not for you to get frustrated. Oh, wow, this is what you need to know. You don't need to do this. But we love to show you what is behind the scenes so that you can understand why we are building the Sequoia platform. So ever since the beginning, I share with everybody saying that, hey, what is our platform? It's more like an Uber, where everybody's utilizing their resources to make one thing work.
Mhm.
You go to Uber, you already know how to drive. But through the Uber system or through the Uber platform, they put a passenger in that empty seat. Now all of a sudden everybody's happy. A lot of people ask me, hey, Alan, can I do this? Can I do this on my own? A lot of people saying that, oh wow, somebody just joined Sequoia and now they're going out there doing it on by themselves. Good luck, no problem. If they can do it, absolutely. But the reality is that not many people can actually do something like this. I cannot do it. Nobody can do it. So that is why when we build a Sequoia platform, we as the agent upfront, what do we have? What is our resources? It's the network that we have. And that is why we keep saying that we're focusing on four type of people, right? Real estate agent, loan officers, insurance agents, CPAs, because this type of people, we already have a book of business. We already selling houses. We already doing mortgage. But unfortunately, a lot of the client, when they need funding, when they need commercial funding, they have no idea where to go and they don't know how to do this. So you already have the resources. But where can you go with these resources? Yes, you can go to the bank. You can give the client to the bank, but is the bank going to pay you any commissions? Can you build a business based on the resources that you already have? You cannot. Without Uber, all you do is that you just drive that car. But with Uber, now all of a sudden you have a business. Does that make sense? So this is what I want to show everybody is that hey, you already
Mhm.
have the resources, but without Sequoia, you are still a life insurance agent. You are still a mortgage agent. You are still a real estate agent, or you're still doing whatever you're doing, but you cannot minoritize, or you cannot take benefit out of the resources that you already built. But through Sequoia platform, and all of a sudden you have a solution company, you have an enterprise solution company where you can provide solutions for these businesses. Now, this is just the funding side of it. We also have the wellness side of it. We also have many other different type of programs that we offer. So what you can do, what you are doing, what you are seeing this platform is that you bring in the resources. In Sequoia, we bring in our resources. Now, what am I good at? What is George good at? We are good at looking at the deal. We know how to, what we call placing the deals. So that is why the scenario form is very, very important. I oftentimes have people just text me, hey, Alan, I have this client. What kind of rate can you get? Honestly, I don't know. So that is why we build the scenario form so that you can enter some information, some basic information. So myself, George, or Bobby or one of our advisors understand what this deal is all about so that we can send to the right people or we can send to the right lender. And once that is done, then my hand is off. Then now the whole file goes to George, goes to Becky. Now the things that they do, I have no idea what they're doing in the back. So hopefully now you see why we build a Sequoia platform. It's not just that easy. Okay, fine. Can I do it or not? There's so many different components, and each component require professionalism. And I believe that the Sequoia platform right now, we do have that. So that is the main reason for us to bring up George and Becky to show you what is under the hood. Now, obviously, don't get frustrated. So when they ask you for paperwork, honestly, we don't like to see that paperwork neither. We don't need that paperwork, but that paperwork is asked by the money source. So imagine if you were the money guy, that you are the one that's lending out millions of dollars. Are you the one that would you be looking at all kind of possibility, also all kind of different type of documentation? I think you would. So please be patient with the processing team when they ask you for anything. Again, it's because the lender's asking for it. Now, there's a lot of things that we do on our end that we can negotiate with the lender. Hey, why do you need this? You do not need something like this. So, for example, today some lenders asking us, hey, give me 12 months of bank statement. But we go back. Why would you ask for 12 months bank statement? It's not necessary for you to see something like this. All we already show you. This gentleman right here have the history of paying mortgage payments, so on and so forth. So again, that is what the processing team is good for. Is good at, right? So please be respect to the processing team. When George asks you for document, when Becky asks you for document, please just give them what they ask for. Okay? So now if you are the one that's helping us collecting the documentations, yes, it's not your responsibility. You can just dump in everything and upload everything to us.
Mhm.
But to help us out or to help the processing team, make sure what we ask for or what Becky is asking for, she will have a list for you. One, two, three, four, five. Very, very clear. So make sure when you collect the documentation from your client, make sure that the document that they provided to you matches that list. If they're asking you for ID, don't give them a credit card. Okay? If they ask you for a bank statement, don't just give them one page, give them the whole bank statement. And also, please help us to name those files. Oftentimes, client will just scan a file to you, have a whole bunch of funny characters or a whole bunch of numbers that you cannot identify what that is. Do us a favor. Just click into it and see what that is. And if you see this is a bank statement, a May bank statement, June bank statement, what that might be, please just help us to rename it so that we know what that piece of document is. That will actually help the processing team tremendously. And that is why we're saying that, hey, in order for you to get 46% commission instead of 23%, those are the things that you need to do so that you can help out the processing team so that they're not spending much time. All they have to do is just collect the documentations. They know exactly what you're submitting in, and now it shortened the processing time dramatically, right? So those is very important. Now, also right now, for many of you probably already know, we start to use a secure portal called Titan File. Titan File. Okay. So how do you get access to Titan File? So let me show you. So everybody have your own website right here, right? So you go to any solution, any solution, for example, 1 to 4 unit. You click on it, you say apply. You see the first link right here, asking you to upload documentation to this link. This link is the third party secure portal. Why do we do that? It's because a lot of clients are uploading tax returns, social security numbers. It's very secure. So we don't want them to just email it to us or email. Well, if they email it to you, that's fine. But don't email it to us. Please submit everything through the secure portal. As long once you click the link, you enter the information right here. Ideally, on the no section right here, the message. Let us know what that property address is. Who's the client's name, so that we can match. Once this thing is created in the back office, the Titan file is create something called a channel. So once the channel is created, all the associated party will get involved. Becky's will be going to be there. I will be there. George will be there. You as the loan officer will be there. The agent, the client will be there. So everybody will be in that portal, will be in that channel. So when you submit documentations, please go back to this link and upload it to us. Now, right now, we still have a lot of people just accustomed to just email documentations to us. Yes, we can still accept it, but slowly, slowly, we're going to phase out email documentations. Everything would need to be in one place. That makes things much, much easier, right? So again, just want to share with everybody what is behind the scene, what is the process. With a process, with an oral process, the engine will be running much, much smoother. Right now, I'm so excited to have Becky online. I mean, every single day she will give me an idea. Alan, we need to do this. We need to do this thing better. That's how we do this thing better. And we even talk to the lender. We even encourage the lender to how to make their process better. And this lender will listen to us, right? So this is what we want to share everybody what's going on behind the scene. And thank you so much, Baggy, for coming on board with Sequoia with your knowledge. I'm so sure that we can close a lot more deal much faster. Okay. So this is all we have. George, do you have anything to add?
No, just that. Again, thank you, Becky. Becky has been such a great help to us. It's been a blessing. So thank you again, Becky. I'd like to publicly thank you for this. This is Alan and I were doing a good job, but you make this even a greater process. So thank you very much.
You're very welcome. There are a few notes in the chat. Um, I see that Alan told them how to get a hold of me, so that's a good thing.
Now, please don't just pick up the phone and call Becky for no reason, okay? Because she is very, very busy every day to process our loans. So if you want to communicate with her, if you have to communicate with her, send her an email.
Yeah, send
But
me an email. We'll,
send her an email. But
yeah,
remember, Becky is a processor. If you have a loan scenario that you want to ask, you talk to me or George. We will let you know how to deal with that loan. If you have questions regarding to the wellness program, talk to Bobby. Okay? So again, we already have the advisor set up for you to talk to.
yeah,
So Becky is actually the processing very, very technical, right?
yeah. So
Um
somebody did say something about a gift money needing to do a paper trail.
yep,
For this particular lender that we're working with, yes, it has to be a very detailed trail. So maybe not all lenders are going to require it, but that was a question in there from Frank.
yep.
Um, yeah, and then the only other question is regarding the and it's from Elvis, and I think that's a really good one for Alan Georges to tackle, but I'm willing to help out in helping communicate to borrowers about what they need for documents. So do you guys see that in the chat?
Yes, I see it.
Okay.
Okay. So Elvis, again, we do want every single one of us to become qualified to get the documentations. Right now, we don't have anything in place yet, but however, we are working on an AI system. Oh, perfect. We are working on what we call an onboard system that has all the different classes that you can take in order for you to become qualified. Now, Bobby is the one that is working with the IT team regarding to the onboarding system. Is that AI onboarding system that we have? Bobby, if you're on the line, can you share with us what is about to come? This is very exciting.
Okay. So basically, with what we're working on right now, we want to streamline how if an agent joins us, what is the or onboarding steps, and because we have different verticals to our platform, we will have different trainings for different topics that we cover. And plus, we're going to have AI to be able to answer all questions that, the consultants or even the clients may have questions to. So all of this is going to be very easy for any of our consultants to be able to run their business without calling me or Alan or George and asking questions, because everything is going to be has it's going to be part of AI. And you can actually do your own training, on your phone or whatever the case, because you have a sign in. When you are a consultant, you can sign in your own account. You can learn everything on there. It's gonna have everything that you would need to make your business successful, all in one place. And hopefully we can get something like that up within the next 30 days or so. At least that's our goal. But as we grow, we're going to have more and more stuff to add to our platform. But we want to have the process, everything easy and very streamlined, where anybody, again, like Alan say, you join us, you don't need to be the expert. But when you join us and you need information, we're gonna have it all in one place, and it'll be easier for you to grow your business and be able to do your business. So that's what we're working on, and hopefully within 30 to 60 days, we will have all of that up. And as a consultant, you will have your own account. You'll be able to log in and utilize all of this, and be able to really understand the process, understand or get the training, and really help build your business. So I'm very excited that we're putting all this in, and of course everything costs money. And this is something that of course we would have to charge our consultants, but it'll be worth it, especially to help build your business.
Okay, again, that is something that is coming, absolutely. So I'm excited to see that platform also. The most importantly, what we're trying to do is to when agent come on board into Sequoia, they already have an assistant follow them 24/7. So meaning that whatever questions that you have right now, a lot of people, I see there's a lot of groups. You will ask your sponsors and sponsor asking for sponsor. And again, you don't know where, there's no central place where you ask the questions to help you to build a business. So once this AI system comes out, you have basically, you just have an assistant following you 24/7. You have any questions, give them a call. You have any questions, type it in, ranging from equipment loans, ranging from all type of loans. How do you do the processing? What is the qualifications? Even up to what is the commissions? How do we make my? Pretty much everything about Sequoia is going to be in the AI system for you to follow. Okay. So, looks like there are two more questions. Thank you. Okay, great, wonderful. So that's all we have for tonight. It's already up to the hour. So again, tomorrow we will go. Bobby and myself is going to Houston. If you're in the Houston area, you have not yet registered, please register. It's free. We provide lunch for you. We want to see you. And if you cannot be in Houston, but you have friends or families or associates in Houston, please sign them up. And again, what we are trying to do in Sequoia is not to just close one deal or two. We are not just a regular company. Ever since the beginning, we have this dream. We are going to disrupt the commercial lending industry, and we are doing it. And we are at the position that we are ready to make that happen. So we are going from city to city to city to city to let people know about our platform. And EXP is joining us. EXP has 80,000 people. The ex-president of EXP Commercial Realty, Mr. James Wang, he already signed up. He already put in Mr. Tom Tran, who is a top producer in the EXP. So a lot of these big guys are coming onto Sequoia. We will disrupt this industry, and we need your help. So, ladies and gentlemen, please don't sit on the sideline anymore. Join us. Let's go make some money. All right, everybody. I see you
Okay.
in Houston. Thank you, everyone. Good night.
Bye-bye.